Hello. Okay, this is a tutorial on how to turn crappy Christmas ornament into awesome Pokeball, which opens up and has Pokeball inside. This is just a spherical Christmas ornament which opens up and it had some sort of sweets inside. If you have one of these, awesome. If you don't have one, you could probably pick one up cheap enough. And then you can turn it into this, which you can use as a prop or just an ornament. I'll use it to give presents out, which is what I'm going to do. Just cool. So, okay, let's get started. You're also going to need a cell battery. Okay, first thing that you're going to want to do is spray paint these black. Alright, I've left the tops unpainted because that would just be a waste of paint since they're going to be painted red and white anyway. So I'll leave them to dry. I'll put another coat of black on and then I'll move on to the next step. Alright, this is after 2 coats. I'll put it together just like that. Next thing that we're going to do is put masking tape around the black that we've just painted. If you're using the same sort of ornament as me, one of them's going to have an indent. Alright, it's easy to do these. You're just going to put the tape just before it starts rising up. Use the flat side, which you've got from the edge, near the edge. Just make sure it's definitely straight. Where it starts to rise up a little bit, just put the tape on just before it. Okay, this isn't strictly necessary on the bottom piece. It is on the other one, but this just makes it look a bit better when you open it up. You can paint it all red or all white depending on which side you're doing which. But I want to have a black inside, so do that. Do it all in little strips, and then you know you've definitely got a nice round edge where you've covered everything. Don't do it all in one long one; it won't work out. Alright, there we go. Not too bothered if there's like little bits where it comes across like there. You're not going to be able to tell too much. You can cut it down or use a knife to cut it down, but it's a matter of how neat you want it. I'm happy with that though. The way these are put together is that the exact middle of the ball isn't this line, it's a bit further up. So you have to decide exactly how far you want the black line to go up. On this one, I don't know if you can see it, you can just about make it out. It's got a thin indent. That's where this line presses up against it. So I'm going to be taping up to that line. You can just about see, hopefully. I'm going to tape up to that line, and that'll be the black for it that you'll see when it's open. Okay, I'll try and get this on camera. This one's quite a bit tricky because you don't have a definite line. So again, all that all the way around. Alright, once you've got all that in, this one's a bit more important to have a straight line. So, like, just go around and check, make sure you've got a straight, neat line around all of it. Because this is what you're going to see when it's up, when it's closed. You're only going to see this bit when you've opened it, which isn't going to be for very long. But this bit is going to be on show all the time, so make sure this line is straight. And then move on to the next step. Okay. Which is to spray paint. Right. You've also got your button battery, which I've already painted, but you need to spray paint that white. Okay, this is the bottom side, and that's the one that goes inside. The top side is there. That's going to be red, and the white side is the one with the indent. Right. Give these both a good coat. Leave it to dry, and then maybe do 2 or 3 coats on this. So, with these, you don't want to do the paint too thick at once. You might see some of the black through it, but it's better to put lots of thin coats on than one big one, because it'll take ages to dry, and then you risk more chance of ruining it. Okay, so I'm going to leave these to dry completely, put another 2 coats on, and they should be good, and then I'll take the tape off, but I'll record that. Right, this is after I've sprayed it a few more times and I've let the paint dry. Next thing I'm going to do is peel this off. So there we go. I'm going to go across and just touch up with a bit of paint just on where it's chipped off a little bit, but apart from that, that's good. There we go. A couple of areas need a bit of paint, but apart from that, it's good. Looks a bit more like a Pokeball. Don't need much more work. Needs to have this put on there and a black ring around it. I'll show you how I do that a bit later. Okay, now I've got my white side, which is the bottom of the Pokeball. What I want to do is that when it's closed with the lid on, I always want it to be white facing down. So if I put it on its side, it will roll. Right, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take just a stone, put it inside and hot glue it down. So, also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on just a slight bit of an angle. So it's not quite just straight upright. I think that'll look nice, but you can do it straight down, or whichever way you like. You don't even have to do this if you don't want to. I just think it'd be a nice feature. Okay, right, hot glue's good enough. I'm going to take a bit of the hot glue, put it on the bottom of the stone. I'm going to put the stone where I want it, which is around there. Right, so there's a bit of an incline, but not too much. And then I'm going to use hot glue and just fill in around the edges. Okay, turns out it doesn't stick to the stone very well, but at least it's a placement for it, so I know exactly where I want it. I'm just going to fill up all around it. Right, with this, you can just about see I've got it entirely covered. I've covered the entire top of the stone as well as a lot of area around it. So once that's cooled down and dried completely, it'll be good. So I'm just going to leave it, not do anything with it. Okay, I've left it for a while and the glue's completely dried. It's stuck down well. It does what I want it to do. Next thing I'm going to do is paint just around where it's overcome a bit. I'm just using normal black paint for this. I'm going to try and use as little as possible, because obviously the shade is a bit different. Alright, so while I leave them to dry, on the button, then if you can make it out on camera, but it has sort of a line, an indent. I'm going to just lightly go over that in black. Alright, so that's how I'm going to leave it. With just a ring in. Alright, so leave them to dry. The next thing that I'm going to do is paint over, do a rough, just the background of this, so I know where I'm doing it. Alright, now this, it's just to get the back bit. I'm going to expand it so I'm not bored by it not being a circle. I'm going to leave that to dry a minute and then... Alright, now I'm going to glue the battery onto the red part, the top part. I'm just gluing it on this, otherwise it'll stick together. That's why I've done the outline on it, so I know whereabouts, how high to put it. So with a little bit of hot glue, okay, for pretty much the last bit, you want a black ring around this white bit. Also a chipped bit, so I'm going to fill that in. It's completely optional how thick about you want it, but you know, somewhere around just about 2/3 of this size I think could be good. Alright, so okay, and there you have a Pokeball. Once you've left that to dry, that could be it for you. I'm going to do another couple of things, but if you wanted it, that's done. Which I think looks pretty nice. So I'm going to leave this to dry. I'm going to do another couple of things which I'll show you. Alright, this is the optional bit. Using some sort of lacquer just to cover these, gives it a nice protective layer so that the pin won't chip off easily, especially the black. So, okay. Alright, so just a nice thin layer. Alright, I'll leave that to dry and then I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so I've let the lacquer dry. I put 2 coats on, I let it completely dry. So this is finished. Can't quite see, you might be able to see a bit of the texture. It's not completely smooth once the lacquer's gone on, but yeah, it's up to you whether you like that texture or not. You can also use something like spray Mod Podge, any sort of clear spray just to protect it, but you don't have to if it's just going to be stored on a shelf or anything. But this, you know, means you can handle it a little bit more. All in all, looks good. You can put any sort of weight in there, you don't even have to have that in there if you don't want it to rock into place. But the stone was the easiest and most common thing that I thought. So, that, you can use it as some sort of container, just as a prop or anything. You know, put some sweets in there and use it as a gift, or put like a little Pokemon toy in. What I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to be using it as a little gift parcel kind of thing. I'm going to be putting padding in this in both ends, and I can put little clay toys in, little clay Pokemon toys, close it, and then, you know, give it to someone, and it'll be a nice little just extra bonus for them to see this. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put stuffing in. I'm just going to hot glue that in place, and then I'm finished, but you can just leave it like this if you want, or do anything with it. Alright, for the stuffing, probably the best thing that you can use is cotton wool balls. What you can do is dab a little bit of hot glue in here and then pop your cotton wool ball and just fill it up, and you'll get a nice even coat, but it won't be too much, not too little. I don't have any right now, so this is just toy stuffing, so I'm just going to make my own cotton wool balls. Should be, yeah, just a bit of glue on and then fill it up. Just a tad, not too much. Alright, so hopefully we won't be able to hear kids screaming in the background, but if you can, sorry about that. Right, so with a little bit of, you know, stuffing or cotton wool balls if you can get them. and then if you lift any bit up and it comes up, you know to put a bit of hot glue under there. Right, so you need to do that all the way around here and just fill it up so it's got a nice cushion around. Right, so you can see it's about full, but once you press it down, you get quite a lot of sponginess. Alright, I'm going to do that on the top as well. Be careful when you're doing this, because you can't go too far up, because this lip needs to make contact with that black. So leave a little bit of a gap so it can fit in properly. And there it is, your finished Pokeball. You can't hear any rattling, and inside is a little Pokemon for you. So you can put your stuff inside there, and that's finished now. So nice, simple, easy project. You'll need a few basic supplies to get it going. Okay. Alright, and that's it for this tutorial. Okay, if you liked this tutorial, leave us a like or a comment telling us you did, and let me know if you want more tutorials like this. I'd love to know if you try and make this as well. So let me know if you do, and let me know how it turned out. I hope you have fun. Thank you for watching. Bye.